You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Good morning, everyone. This is iWalter once again. It's a morning show. It's at 3:08 a.m. my time. That's Eastern. And it is Wednesday the 29th. There's only, I think, 2 more days left in this month. And another month has passed us by in 2015. You know what? I really don't have much to say. I was actually going to not do a show early in the morning. I get done work at 12:30. I don't get home till about 1. But then I thought about it and was like, you know what? I'm going to try to do a show after all. I just got to make sure my vent thing is off, my air cleaner. And it wasn't, so now it is. Try to get any distractions, any extra noise out of the picture. It was funny. I came home and it was like, you know what? Maybe I will just. It's going to be literally about nothing. What I'm going to talk about. But I come home and there's this station that is, it's Channel 2 in Philadelphia, but I think it's from elsewhere. It's called Me TV, and they show all these really old shows, and I actually enjoy watching them. Because I can reminisce about my past with these shows. And one of my favorite ones that was on just now was they had a back-to-back episodes or shows of Night Gallery. Because when I was a kid, I remember watching it with my brother. He got me into a lot of my music I listened to, my one older brother, and also into certain types of TV shows. And I remember being a little kid, and he would watch Night Gallery, and it was like, it really just intrigued me, this show. It's Rod Serling. He's also the one who had done in the past Night Gallery. He had also, he's responsible for The Twilight Zone. And I remember my brother watched that too. I mean, I liked both of them, Twilight Zone, but I actually like Night Gallery a little bit more. It dealt with other things besides just weird happenings. It was more almost like supernatural stuff. Because actually there was another show on, believe it or not. Night Gallery was on in the early 70s. And there was this other show that didn't take off. So the network combined both shows and put them under the same umbrella as Rod Serling. Like, they had to reshoot the opening scenes and stuff. There was this show, believe it or not, it was a TV show, and I found it. And I could only buy copies because the show was never released otherwise, and I don't remember it, minus it being a Night Gallery thing. It was a show, I am not kidding, it was called The Sixth Sense. Don't confuse, and not to be confused with the movie called The Sixth Sense. But yeah, there was a TV series, and it had this character named Dr. Rhodes. And it was on for, I think, only about a season, and it got canceled, maybe a little longer. But those episodes got incorporated into Night Gallery. They actually had Rod Serling basically make openings for these episodes, and they incorporated them into the Night Gallery as reruns. So that's the only reason I remember that. And I was like, wait, I bought all of the Night Galleries because they slowly released them. And it was like, okay, where are the ones with Dr. Rhodes? And then I figured it out. It was like, well, that was a different TV show that never had taken off. It was called The Sixth Sense. So I ended up finding those online, like these places that they give you copies of TV shows that you can't find anywhere else. I can't even remember where I bought them, but I ended up buying them and watching. It was like, yeah, it reminds me. But Night Gallery was one of my favorite shows. I might have mentioned this before. I remember when I was even smaller yet, besides Doctor Who, that's a given, I watched this other show. Actually, one other one I actually bought because they finally released all those. It was a comedy soap opera called Mary Hartman. And I used to watch those just because my brother would watch them. Like, he would pretty much, dictate what we would watch. I have 2 older brothers, but it was my middle brother. But I didn't have any complaints because obviously he liked the same thing I was interested in, so I didn't have a problem with that. But yeah, Night Gallery. There was one on tonight. I'm trying to look because I actually looked up because I got a couple stories, nothing spectacular. I just wanted to talk about a little bit more because I get very easily bored otherwise. Yeah, it was actually it was called Keep in Touch. Well, think of something. That was the name of the title of the episode it was on tonight. And it was like the woman that was in there, this actress, she was on another one. And her name is Joanna Pettit. I can't say her last name correctly, so I apologize. But she was in one called, I want to say Crazy Eyes, but it was something like that, where she's a blonde-haired woman, and her episodes are actually really good. But there were some night galleries. There was one that I remember that I really liked. That was the first one I actually remember watching with my brother, and it was with this old woman that they were trying to buy her house off her, these construction workers or whatever, and she wouldn't sell her home. So they tried to buy her out. It's like, listen, we're making a big factory, and your house is right in the middle where we're going to put this factory. And she wouldn't sell. So the guy tried to threaten her, and then they tried to, threaten her by cutting off or trying to, threaten her like, oh, if you don't move, we're going to kill you. So somehow she cuts off her hand and buries it. Oh, it was called, I think, like Green Thumb or something like that. So she gets shot or something or stabbed. I can't remember that much, but I do have them all. I just haven't watched in a while. And she regrows herself, because she was dying, so she regrew herself in the ground. I think it was like something called Green Thumb or something, but it was really good. There was other night galleries. This little boy, that one actually freaked me out. This little boy could actually predict the future, and he actually predicted the end of the world, and it was pretty intense, pretty freaky. So yeah, Night Gallery had some really good shows on there. I liked it better, pretty much much more than I liked Twilight Zone, but they were both really good. But yeah, it was like one of those shows when you're a kid growing up. It's just like they were reruns because I was born in '67, and those shows were actually shown in originally in 1970. So I was too young to actually remember watching those. But yeah, it was pretty funny actually. That's another thing. I remember when I was a kid, my parents would watch this TV show called Sonny and Cher, and Sonny Bono is actually he's related to my dad's side because my dad's mother's maiden name was Bono. So, and it wasn't just a coincidence. He is actually related to my father's mother is on that side. But anyway, I just went off on a little bit of a different direction. But yeah, there were certain shows you grow up with you just remember, and obviously mine were more like science fiction and horror. Because there was another show called Kojak and the Night Stalker. I used to love that show too. There are some good shows on in the past, but you know what? I'm not saying there's nothing good on now. There's too much actually on right now. And I mean, because I'm looking and it was like, yeah, Daredevil is one of my favorite shows right now, in the present time. But there's certain shows like for nostalgic reasons or whatever, and plus you relate it to things you grew up with. And Night Gallery was one of them. I guess I relate that to my older brother, not my oldest. My older brother, there is a couple years. I'm 48, and my older brothers, both of them are in their 50s. So, anyway, yeah, I wasn't going to do a show, and I was like, yeah, I'm watching the Night Gallery. And it just brought back, like, you know what, I want to talk about the Night Gallery and growing up with that and actually really enjoying it. So, I figured it's kind of a waste of a subject to talk about, but that is why I had named my show, Real Talk About Nothing. It's just about stuff, I want to make this show about things that you would talk about with your friends and maybe even interest people into other things besides, things besides the things they know about. I like to talk about things maybe people don't know about. Kind of, you mentioned, because you can learn things from people. And speaking about that, it was funny, and you can actually misjudge people or whatever, because it was funny. I'm going to mention this real quick, and maybe I'll just do a short news segment and make this short tonight, or in the morning hours. It was funny because I had this one supervisor. He's a really cool guy. And it was funny because last Halloween, he grew in his beard and then he cut it off in the center, I guess. Basically what he was doing is, and I looked at him and was like, God, this guy looks just like Logan or Wolverine. And I thought that to myself, and he was like, he did actually... For Halloween, he dressed up last year like Wolverine. He actually did that. So he grew in his beard and just cut it in the correct way. And it was kind of cool. So the guy is like a really nice guy. He's from the South. And lately, he's just been like not talking. And I thought I had taken it personally. So I had spoken to a friend tonight, a coworker / friend, a coworker I used to have that still works where I work. And she mentioned to me, she said, yeah, everybody else is saying this guy has not been himself lately. And it was like, wow, so it's not just me. So, see, I take things to heart. And when somebody is, not saying anything to me, I assume it's because it's something I did. I don't go beyond the realm of, well, maybe this person has other issues going on in their life. Because I really don't talk to people. I'm pretty much like one step away from being in a cave or this is going back to like this show called Grizzly Adams where I'm basically cut off from the rest of society. So, but yeah, I'm not that much for animals too because this man, well, he was for nature and stuff. I'm not that close to nature, but yeah, I'm definitely a hermit otherwise. Anyway, I'm just going to kind of read some news because it's getting pretty quickly past where I wanted to be tonight. Thank you, Todd Thomas. He had sent me this article. He posted on my Facebook page, and it's around here. It says, man known as Shaggy flees police in Norristown. So I didn't know what to expect. It's kind of a weird story, but by judging by it, the man was probably at Norristown State Hospital and he escaped. And I felt bad after I read this article. It was actually, at this point, it was yesterday's article. It says his mother asked, can't you see the pain in his eyes after the wanted man fled a psychiatric evaluation? So that would be Norristown State Hospital. And they actually gave it away at one point because they said they thought they last seen the man at Norristown Farm Park, which is actually is part of Norristown State Hospital on the grounds. So, and what really got to me, I felt bad. This guy obviously has issues. He had a girlfriend, and it states in this one part of this article, it was Norristown Patch. It states he may still have staples in his forehead from an injury which his sister claims was inflicted by his girlfriend. So the man, amazingly, he had a girlfriend, but he also had an abusive girlfriend. So I felt kind of bad. They're kind of looking for this poor guy. And he looks like Christ almost because he's got the long hair and the beard, but, hopefully they can find him, before he gets hurt. So there's that story. Thank you once again. Todd put this on my Facebook page. It is kind of humorous. It says, man arrested for urinating in hotel ice machine in St. Johns County. That's in Florida. So, yeah, I kind of joked about it. I said, you mean you're not allowed to do that? Well, apparently it must have caught him. His name was Andrew Kirk, 26. He was arrested after police say he was drunk and causing a disturbance at the Hampton Inn on A1A in St. Augustine Beach. Well, he posted his bail. He was basically arrested. He posted his bail for $500. So that was yesterday's news too. It's yesterday's news. So anyway, thank you once again. Todd posted this. It was from a website called Happy Place to somecards.com. Where do they come up with these names for these websites? I have no clue. Anyway, this one's titled, and I had to make a joke about this, not about what happened, but just referring to myself. But anyway, I'll read the name of the title. It says, "This is how to get fired from a job before it even starts." And it's titled, "A woman was fired from a job before it started because she wrote on Facebook a Facebook post about hating her job." And she got a job at a daycare. Her name is Caitlin Walls, and she's 27 years old, and she's a single mom. And it says living in Colonial, Texas, and she basically got fired because she posted how she hates working with children, and she hates working with a lot of children. So she was basically just being tongue-in-cheek about it, but apparently it got so much hate responses on Facebook, and it got back to the daycare before she even started that they just basically said don't bother to come in at all at this point. And it was on the news, the local news within that area. And, she was talking about how, I will never do that again. You know what, though? I was joking. This is where the joke comes in. I was joking with a friend as a response when he posted on my Facebook page. I said, well, you know what? I don't have to worry about that because either A, nobody listens to me, or B, no one really cares about me, so they're not even spend the energy to try to get me in trouble or whatever. So, but you know what? Yeah, I guess you do gotta watch what you say or write on public media, but it's just a shame that, within reason, I mean, you could kind of look at her post and realize that the woman was just, she was basically being tongue-in-cheek. She wasn't being serious. But I don't know. You have to be politically correct with everything nowadays, so it's a shame. So, this was an interesting story. Thanks again, Todd Thomas. He posted this on my Facebook page. Also, this was from Channel 16 news station. It's WNEP.com. This was also yesterday. It says by CNN Wire, though. It's in Washington State, this story. And it's titled, "Close Call, Driver Speeds by School Bus Nearly Mows Down Kids." So, this SUV, there's a video with it, too. And it shows, you could clearly see that, the bus, I don't understand why they had to do it, but now I can kind of understand it a little bit more. Like when I was younger, they didn't have those stop signs that, basically came out of the side of the bus to tell you to stop. When you went for your driver's test in high school, it was just a given in your driver's book that, hey, when there's a school bus, you have to stop on both sides of the road. You can't drive around. So apparently there was all these cars that stopped, and there was this one SUV that apparently thought that they didn't need to. So they literally almost ran over a bunch of kids. And you could see it because the buses now have surveillance cameras in different locations on the bus. So they caught everything, but unfortunately the SUV, it was a white SUV, they couldn't catch it because they went so fast And if you watch the video, it states that the person who was driving actually got out of their lane, where they were supposed to stop, and they passed like 5 or 6 cars. And then almost hit these poor kids trying to get off the school bus. They're little kids. They're like, I think it gives, nobody got hurt, but a 5-year-old Chatter says, I apologize. But yeah, the one kid was 5 years old and almost got killed. I mean, all the kids were shooken up, and the parents were obviously were just a mess to see that happen. I just don't understand. I mean, people should know better. I mean, but obviously everything has to be written out, and even that's not enough because people don't care about anything except themselves nowadays. So that's a shame. So that was mainly, I guess, what I was going to basically touch upon. There's nothing else much to talk about. Oh, actually, this was pretty funny. I always find this stuff when I'm ready to end my show, but it's on my Facebook page. And maybe I'll just leave it go at that because there's some other interesting stories I had posted. This is on the Daily Mail. I still like to call it the UK Daily Mail, but they just call it the Daily Mail. And it's titled, I Couldn't Believe My Eyes, Woman Shocked by Phallic-Shaped Cloud. And it's not Mother Nature's first X-rated display, but it really does look like, I'm not even kidding, if you look at the pictures on the Daily Mail, it really looks like a penis. A cloud shaped like a penis. I mean, it's got the head and everything. Yeah, and it's, well, I'm not going to go any more detail, but yeah, it really looks like a penis. So, Nolene Foster snapped an image of a phallic cloud at work last Friday. The mother of 4 took the pic in Zuculo. I can't say that, but it says 25 kilometers southeast of Darwin. So this, I'm trying to figure out where this is located because I think it's pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, if you look at the pictures, if you need something just kind of brighten up your mood or your day, just look at that because I think it's pretty funny. Yeah, so anyway, I don't have much else to talk about tonight, or in the morning hours. So I'm going to leave it go at that. And everyone, I will be back hopefully soon or tomorrow. So have a good morning.